Ultimately, what we're using is a Power App to collect information about meetings to populate within our calendar. Now, the reason why we do this is to have consistent input at all times. Plus, it gives us multiple places to see the data and do other things with the data, as well as within SharePoint, Planner, and other areas. So let's go ahead and focus on creating this Power App and how to feed it into the calendar. Let's get started. So the first thing, and we talked about this in another video, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, is here we set up a SharePoint form, and then from that form, we set up this Power App. And it's very simple to do, integrate Power Apps, see the other video, and we end up here. And so now what we want to do is we want to create a calendar invite. Well, let's flip over to PowerAutomate to see how that happens. What we're doing here is we have a Power App, we're collecting the information, which is getting dumped here to a SharePoint list. From that SharePoint list, we're using PowerAutomate here to collect new information from PowerAutomate and dump it and create a calendar invite. Now, regularly I would use a form to collect information, but forms do not allow you to collect specific time. So this is a great way to do this as well. So let's start here with the Power App itself. So we created this, we created the Power App, and we're not going to talk about this Power App. We're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and select a time, and we'll put it in here. The start and stop times and dates. So there we go, and we're just going to put in meeting name, and then note, info, and then we're going to say it's in the CC room, and then we're going to assign Joe Snuffy to it, and we're going to hit go. Now, what we're interested in here, and so here's the meeting appearing here inside of our Power App. We're interested in the flow here that's going to work within this system. So let's go ahead and back out there. Here I had one 26 minutes ago, so it's going to take a few minutes to kind of cycle through and so that we can see it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at what the results should look like. So here we see on finance, we're going to come back to that in a minute, but here we're actually, this is an Outlook calendar. So very simple. You have these calendars, and here is that meeting, by the way, that we just created. So let's go ahead and click on it. So we're just going to click on that, and now notice here as we open it up, we've preset this to be 30 minutes before. We've asked these questions and input this information right here. The True and Joe Snuffy came from the Power App, and the note info came from the Power App, as well as the time and date. So pretty cool stuff, right? So additionally, I can go and look at this at any time here, but let's look at the PowerAutomate that made this happen. So let's go ahead and edit that flow. It's a very simple flow. So when a new item is created inside of a SharePoint list, specify the list and then create an event. That's all we have to do. So these are the names right here. Notice the SharePoint logo right there. These are the names of the SharePoint fields there. Do you see it? So that's as easy as it is. Just take what those names are, know what they are from your SharePoint list so that you're putting the data in right. We're going to show advanced options. Here, we're going to go ahead and just put in some text, just free text. We can do whatever we want here, but these are the fields coming from that SharePoint list. Again, we've put a reminder out at 30 minutes, and you can play with some of these settings as well. And that is literally all that you have to do. And once you do it, as you saw, it just automatically works. Now this comes here, marks it as a 1 a.m. meeting. And if I had multiple meetings, of course, it would fall in place like this. Now, something to note. This meeting here, I just changed on the calendar. It does not retrospectively go back and change the information here on the SharePoint list. This SharePoint list is kind of a temporary staging area that we're just pulling data from to put it onto the calendar. Although when we go in here inside of our Power App, it's not going to change the date here. Notice we changed that to the 19th. It's not going to change it because this date all coming from the SharePoint list. So the moral to this story is that if you move things around, they're not going to appear right in everything else except just here on the calendar.